Hello, fabulous people. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Five in a Photo. My name is Sheena Flowers. I'm an executive assistant with AEG Global Technology, and I'm excited to host this session because I consider this lady right here to be a shero in the Los Angeles community. Before we jump right into our questions, I really want to go ahead and tee her up. Nichol Whiteman is Chief Executive Officer of the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation. Through community infrastructure, sports-based youth development, equity-focused grant-making, strategic community engagement, Nichol has built an alliance of community partners. Under her leadership, she's launched its cornerstone program, Dodgers Dream Team, the first ever LADF scholarship, college and career accelerator program, science and baseball initiative, LA Reads, and more. She hails from an HBCU, Spelman College, and has been recognized and received awards throughout the industry for her exceptional contributions and is on numerous advisory and regional boards. Nichol, welcome, and thank you for joining us on AEG's Five in a Photo.
Thank you, Sheena. Thanks for that wonderful introduction.
You are so welcome. Well deserved. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the questions for today. As you know, LA Dodgers Foundation partners with organizations that help LADF accomplish its mission of serving the LA community. I know firsthand about some of the work that you do as a current field champion through your organization and partners like Up to Us Sports and AmeriCorps, as well as the city of Inglewood. Can you talk a little bit more about the work LADF is doing, especially the Dodgers Dream Team, which was formerly the RBI program, and the impact that LADF has made in the community?
Thank you, Sheena. So I just love your connection to our organization. And I know you know plenty of this, but happy to share. So the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation, our mission is around tackling what we consider to be LA's most pressing problems. And that is homelessness, education, healthcare, and social justice. Our vision is that every Angelino, regardless of zip code, should have the opportunity to thrive. We believe that, frankly, by using this Dodger brand, that we're able to amplify the voices of those who are, what I like to say, living in the shadows of Dodger Stadium. Mm-hmm. Those who obviously lack the same access and resources as others. And we have an opportunity through the work that we do to be able to open those doors, to strengthen communities, to provide self-confidence, to provide more possibilities for the future for youth and families, frankly, in underserved communities here in Los Angeles. And many of us know that to be our Black and Brown communities. Through our Dodgers Dream Team program, which you mentioned was formerly Dodgers RBI, we launched an initiative in 2014 to essentially not only couple the opportunity for youth to play baseball and softball, but also to provide wraparound resources, that is education and health services, plus basic necessities to youth throughout Los Angeles. The program has been available for 9 years. We've served almost 60,000 youth here in Los Angeles alone, just with Dodgers Dream Team. And essentially, we remove all of the barriers, the cost, the play spaces, and more to basically having youth participate in the sport. We all know the benefit that sport has had to those of us who've played and those of us who've watched family members and friends participate. And yes, it provides a certain level of importance around leadership and a lot of other capacities, but the social emotional skills that one can gain from playing sport is really special. And we do it because we know that that is very important. We also know that these youth who are coming to our 80 plus locations where we operate the Dodgers Dream Team program are going home sometimes to some pretty traumatic situations. And so it's important for us, frankly, to be able to provide them not only with the sport, but also the tools that they need to navigate their neighborhoods, their family, their lives, and more. And so when we talk about education resources, we're talking about college access and success workshops and tours. When we talk about education, we're talking about books, literacy, and really focusing on making sure that youth have what they need in that area. When we talk about health, we're talking about vision screenings, dental screenings, health screenings, and more things that a lot of our families, if we don't bring it to them, oftentimes will not take advantage of because there's stigma attached to that. And when we talk about basic necessities, we all know it too well. Food, How many families do we know participate, if it is like ours, a free sports program, but are going home and don't necessarily know where their next meal is coming from? And so when it comes to the basic necessities, we're talking about food, we're talking about shoes, we're talking about clothing and more. And so we've created this holistic approach, frankly, to what we believe is removing some of the social inequities that exist for a youth to just engage. Yes, to engage in sport and to be part of that game, but just frankly to be a part of the game of life.
Thank you so much, Nichol. And you spoke so eloquently about closing kind of sort of that equity gap for kids. So I sincerely appreciate you, and thank you guys, especially LADF, for all the work that you guys are doing in our community. I currently serve as co-chair for our Black Equity at AEG's Employee Network Group. Our leadership and planning team are proud of the events that we're bringing to our employees through the support of our DE&I and employee engagement departments. Can you talk a little bit more about the importance of support for ENGs and your role as executive sponsor for the Black Action Network at the LA Dodgers?
Yeah, I can't say enough about employee network groups. So important. I think very similar to a lot of other organizations, we here at the Dodgers, on the heels of George Floyd's murder, launched our Black Action Network, along with a number of other employee network groups. The reality is we learned a lot during that very traumatic period of time. And our Black employees began to gather in a space that was not a formal group at all. And that soon evolved into the Black Action Network, which is our employee resource group, along with several others. Proud to work in a franchise, frankly, that gives the space for this and frankly supports this from the highest levels, our president and CEO right on down. And to be able to work in an organization where I get to sit as the CEO of the foundation and frankly the executive sponsor of the Dodgers Black Action Network and create that connection, which is also very unique and pretty important to us overall. When I think about the Black Action Network, our goals are really around developing and nurturing and fostering a culture of inclusion for what we call the Dodger Black community. And that is in the front office, in the stands, and on the field. And so when you think about the sports world, a lot of people don't think about the behind the scenes, as you know it all too well, Sheena, right? Those of us who are in the space, in the office every single day, managing the operation that puts the guys on the fields and leads to championships and things of that nature. And the Black Action Network really is right now focused, obviously, in almost our third year now on developing and nurturing the employees internally, supporting efforts around recruitment, ensuring that there are social activities and also even safe spaces for our employees to show up. Educating the broader Dodger franchise, especially here we are in Black History Month, on things that folks sometimes just don't know, which we think is really, really important, and truly helping to move the needle, as I mentioned before, on what inclusiveness truly looks like. We make no bones about it and are pretty unapologetic about the fact that while there aren't a whole lot of Blacks in baseball, whether in the front office or on the field, our efforts are directly connecting to making sure that that changes.
So for 2023, the theme for Black Heritage or History Month is Black Resistance. When you hear that theme, what thoughts, feelings, or reflections come up for you?
Yeah. Black resistance is a very powerful term. And I think that when the non-Black community hears that, there's probably a tightening or a tension that might occur. But truly, if you really embrace Black resistance, it is an opportunity to listen and learn. For me, Black resistance is about education. It's about using this month and this theme to share as much as we can about our culture, our race, our heritage, and the many, many facets that come with that. We talk about, Black history, and there's all kinds of political views on whether it should be in classrooms or not, and what level of it should be here or there. But the reality is we all know we've only begun to scratch the surface with what our youth are learning in schools as it relates to Black history. So Black History Month does give all of us an opportunity to educate everyone a little bit more, to give everyone a better sense of not just, the tough traumatic experiences, but Black joy. There's a book out right now, which I'm so excited about, and I'm so excited in general that this rhetoric is out, that Black resistance can also be Black joy. It can be showing and sharing our phenomenal experiences and the things that we contribute to culture, the things that we contribute to this country and to this world. When you think about even the Grammys last night and, the 50th anniversary celebration of hip hop, that's a really amazing deal.
Yes.
For me personally, my son is a freshman at Morehouse College, and to celebrate him and my youngest son, in experiencing some amazing things as young Black men. I think that when we really embrace Black resistance, we're talking about putting those stories on a platform, sharing stories as we are within the Dodgers Foundation this month about Black leaders in Los Angeles doing amazing things and Black nonprofit organizations doing amazing things. As you know, Sheena, even our Black field champions and others who are working within the space that we are in, to say there is some positive, progressive, amazingness happening, and we should celebrate that Black joy, and that can be Black resistance.
Thank you so much, Nichol. Gems you have dropped. Gems you have dropped. For the non-Black community, it can be off-putting for us, in regards to just sometimes it brings up some uneasy and uncomfortable conversations and or thoughts around that, but highlighting that this is an opportunity for education. It's an opportunity for us to share our culture with individuals, and it's also for us to share our contributions that we've made, because again, sometimes that is not recognized in the history that is taught to our children and or just, within school or our education system. So thank you very, very much for that.
Yes, I'm going to actually jump in again, Sheena, just to say that when we think about these heritage months, particularly Black History Month, I know that I probably receive a lot of questions, as you do all the time, from people in terms of what can I do? And when we think about how current the situation remains about what can I do, Black History Month really gives the non-Black community an opportunity to lean in. So I say that folks should really use this as, shortest month of the year, of course, but this 28 days or whatever it is in a given year, to really focus on what can I learn? How can I listen better? What can I attend? What question can I ask? Because the space is provided this month. And so I think that there's no excuse to not know something more after every February of every year. And so if it feels daunting and it feels tense any other time, I just say that February is just an opportunity, frankly, to celebrate with us. I think we are celebrating Black History Month every day. We're Black, we're celebrating Black history. But I think that this month is special because it allows us to say to others, come along for the ride, be our allies and be our accomplices. And we should do the same, during other heritage months.
So I heard you talk a little bit, or I should say within your bio, and one of the reasons why I was so excited to interview you was because as a first generation Afro-Caribbean American with Latin roots and influences, my parents are from Belize, which is the only English-speaking country in Central America. And so as an immigrant daughter yourself, I hear that your parents hail from Jamaica. Yeah. I really want you to share with everyone a little bit more about your background and then also your upbringing through college to present.
Wow. So I love that we are Afro-Caribbean sisters. Absolutely. So yes, I am a first generation American. My parents are both from Jamaica. Crazy. I guess they've been in the United States almost 50 years now. Okay. Like most immigrant families, came to the U.S. for better opportunity for themselves, but also for the children that they would have. And frankly, education was at the top of that wish list. I grew up in a household where education was king. And getting an education and pursuing an education and using that as your golden ticket and your key was something that was professed day in and day out. I am one of five. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers. And so, pretty significant family as would be defined today. However, I'm a first generation college graduate. I think that you would probably say this too, that, first generation children, sometimes a lot of
Oh,
pressure comes with that, as does with being the first of anything, but also a lot of power and a lot of pride comes with that as well. So I grew up in a household where, because I was pushed to be my best, education wise, I ended up attending a small boarding school on a scholarship with an organization called A Better Chance in New Milford, Connecticut, leaving New York City, where I had grown up, for 4 years for high school. That was an amazing experience where I was able to play sports and have a great academic experience that led to me really wanting to go to Spelman College and really being equipped to go to Spelman College. I spent 4 years at a historically Black college and university that is priceless. Again, I don't know how to compare anything to it. I'm so proud that my son is a freshman at our brother school, Morehouse, this year, and that he's experiencing something quite similar. I was an economics major at Spelman with a minor in management and organization. And my intent was to go back to New York and to be in investment banking, frankly, for the rest of my life. And I actually started out in the investment world, and I realized shortly in that it was not my love. I knew for some reason, although I was pretty young at the time, that something was missing. I was fortunate enough to break into the publishing industry, where I worked for Black Enterprise Magazine and Essence Magazine. And I did sponsorship and advertising and marketing, and really just honed some really awesome skills and created a significant network that led to my relocation to Los Angeles 21 years ago. And I ended up, crazy enough, landing in philanthropy with the Jackie Robinson Foundation, an organization that had given me a scholarship to attend Spelman College, literally full circle of events. I became the vice president, Western region of the Jackie Robinson Foundation, and really spent a large time there, opening up the LA office, fostering and recruiting scholarship recipients, fundraising, and more. And I got to do it in a place where I was talking to people daily about being a product, frankly, of the Jackie Robinson Foundation mission, vision, and that of Rachel and Jackie Robinson. And so I actually ended up doing some work in public school reform locally here in LA, really trying to get on the ground and understand Los Angeles, a city, obviously, where I've raised my two sons, and wanted to make sure that, that was really important to me. I really wanted to understand Los Angeles. And 10 years ago, I like to say I was recruited by the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation as executive director and promoted in 2019 to CEO, and have been leading this organization under a new logo and a new name since 2013. It's really hard to say it's been a decade now. Sports can be somewhat of a blur, but it's been one of the most rewarding and challenging experiences of my life.
I also want to talk about the importance of sisterhood and mentorship in your life. And also, if you could, share any advice to other young women who aspire to pursue a career in sports and entertainment.
Yeah. As you mentioned, as a wife and a mother of a 19-year-old and a 14-year-old, of course, there isn't a whole lot of free time when you think about even my full-time job. But one of the things that I make absolute space for is mentorship. Again, because I really do feel like it's about paying it forward. And I want to see not Nichol, the first or the only in 5 million rooms. I want to see and know who's coming behind me. And in order for that to happen, I think it's important that we mentor the next generation, our peers, and more. I've had some really amazing, special women in my life. When I think about even going back 10 years and, being at Dodger Stadium at the right time and the right place, I was in a room with Renata Simrel, an amazing Black woman who is the president and CEO of the LA84 Foundation, who literally said, "Why haven't you applied to be the executive director of the Dodgers Foundation?" And I tell people that started a conversation that led to my interviews with the Dodgers ownership group, Mark Walter and Magic Johnson and Todd Bowley and more, and landed me this role. When I think about back to just making the transition from finance to the publishing space. I walked into Essence Magazine for an interview, informational interview at that, not even for a role. And I walked out of there with a job because Karen Thomas, another amazing Black woman who was the vice president of marketing at Essence Magazine, said to me, "You have a skill set that we need and that we want." And she gave me a job. When I think about even my work today, you know, I'm in a space in the sports industry with some amazing individuals like a Kim Davis in the NHL. You know, one of the most phenomenal Black women I know, who is just doing leadership in such a special way and pulling younger women like myself along and still giving us the gems that we need to be great leaders every single day. It really is about significant mentorship. And then when I think about my ultimate mentor, I tell people all the time, I've got this weird string of Jackie Robinson sort of weaved throughout my story, having received this scholarship that then catapulted into so many other things that now has me leading the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation, the foundation of Jackie's team. It's a really special thread, but it wouldn't have been possible without my ultimate mentor, Rachel Robinson. Rachel and I have shared a very special relationship for many, many years. This photo actually represents when we first actually saw each other in 2022 when she was at the stadium for Jackie Robinson Day, where she visits every single year. And we celebrate Jackie Robinson, but we celebrate Rachel because as a wife and a mother, she endured a significant level of adversity during Jackie's time and during some really trying times when he played baseball and even after. And Rachel talking about that and sharing those stories and frankly, using them to give me reason to continue to push forward and motivate myself and do what I do has been a really special part of my life and of my career. You know, her sharing those gems and continuing to share them with me, even at the age of 100, is pretty special. And so when I think about mentorship and I think about even what I want young women who want to be in sports and entertainment today to know is that it's about persistence and that honestly, no one can tell you what you cannot do. You need to put your head down and do the hard work, but you also need to make sure that that seat at the table is one that you feel belongs to you. You do the work, you deserve it, you should be there, and you have to be persistent. There are some interesting ways in which people get into sports, but know that the network and reaching out to those of us who may look like you and have had similar experiences for advice and suggestion and recommendation, and frankly, sometimes just simply for motivation is possible. And that can happen with persistence.
Wow, Nichol, I'm so serious. I mean, I continue to say it. Amazing conversation and gems that you're dropping, because one of the themes I think you mentioned was, for me, or that I took away from it, it's sponsorship. And sometimes we sometimes mistake mentorship and sponsorship. But you talked about having, that mentor who was with you, speaking about you, knowing your skill set, when you weren't even in that room. And she's telling you, why didn't you apply? And I love that. And I love that as an example for sponsorship. And then also just recognizing, especially with Ms. Rachel, is that sometimes we don't really hear the stories of the amazing Black women behind the Black men who also struggled, who also endured, So I love that she's a mentor to you. And that is an amazing opportunity. And then also with sisterhood, because I know that with sisterhood, they sometimes call you out on stuff and they allow you, and they also keep you honest. So I love it. I love it. Yeah. That is basically all the time that we have today for our 5 in a Photo. And I really, really want to thank you so, so much for allowing me this opportunity to interview you, because you are an amazing Black woman and you are doing such an amazing job with the organization and just being a shero in our community. So thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sheena. I appreciate this opportunity and this platform to share my story, and I look forward to working with you all so much more.
Turn it up, let the radio blast. This a movie, can't catch it on HBO Max. Couldn't play me even back when we was playing tag.
And that's going to be our end.
Wow, that went was like almost too fast. I could talk to you for a week, but yes.